Hi there and welcome to your yoga class. We're doing a lower body super stretch today, a 45-minute class designed to work on your flexibility and your hips, your legs, and a little bit everywhere else as well. So we're going to start lying down in reclined butterfly pose. Now, soles of the feet together. Just let your knees flop out and pop those hands above your head if you want to, or you can put them on your stomach. And just taking a second to centre yourself and ground yourself. Letting gravity do the work on your knees. If it's far too stretchy for you, you can put a block underneath your knees as well. But just starting to open the hips. So just nice, deep belly breaths in through your nose and out through your nose. Letting those knees drop open as much as they can. Feeling your back pressing into the floor and feeling that nice hip stretch. Just trying to relax as much as you can into this position. It can be quite stretchy. So as I say, use the blocks if you need to. And if it just gets too much, you can of course raise your knees back up and keep your feet on the floor and your knees together. But even just try to hold it just for a little while, just to encourage that opening in the hips. So just starting to think about coming up. You can use your hands to help your knees up to the middle if you want. But have a lovely big stretch. Stretch those fingers out, toes out, lovely big full body stretch. And bring that right knee into your chest. And we're going to go for a little spinal twist. So keeping the knee in, you're going to roll on to your left hand side. So your hips will be stacked on top of one another. And you can keep your hand, that left hand on your knee. And you can also straighten your knee if you want a bit of a deeper stretch as well. Now, most importantly, both your shoulder blades are on the floor. So that knee doesn't need to be at the floor, the foot doesn't need to be at the floor, as long as your hips are close to stacking and both the shoulder blades are on the floor. And just breathe into it. So just bending into that right knee, coming back to the middle, and of course coming to do the other side. So left knee in, give it a squeeze into the chest first of all. Then guide it over with your right hand. Remember, trying to get your hips stacked. Put that other hand out in a T position as well. And you can keep your knee bent or you can straighten it out. Remember, both shoulder blades on the floor. Feel the lovely spinal rotation and the really nice twist. So just starting to think about coming up. If it's straight, then bend the leg and come back up into the middle. So from here, we're staying on our backs and you're going to raise your right leg up to the roof. Now you can use a strap here if you want, but hold on to the back of the thigh, the back of the calf, wherever you can. The leg doesn't need to be totally straight and that left leg can stay bent. So you're just pulling up And then what we're going to do is bend the knee into the chest and then flex up the heel towards the roof. So bend and flex. And just every time your leg might be coming a little bit closer to you, it might not be. And then you're going to point your toe, and then you're going to lift your torso, shoulders off the floor, bringing your nose, as if you're trying to get your nose to your calf. It may not come to your calf, of course. And then after that, just keeping that there, keeping the breathing going. And then what we're going to do is we're going to straighten the other leg out. Leave it hovering. You can have it on the floor if you want. Lovely big stretch here. Remember, your knees don't need to be completely straight. So then we're going to guide that left foot over into a reclined pigeon pose. So over the left knee, you can hold on to the back of the thigh like I'm doing, or your shin, or you can leave that left foot down in the ground as well. As long as you're feeling the opening in the right thigh, that's what we are after here, and bringing it back down again. So stay in that reclined pigeon pose, and we're going to let the left knee drop over so the right foot will come to the floor, and we're trying to get a really nice stretch in our IT band here. That runs right along the outside of your thigh, so you might want to push that right knee away, or you might want to hold on to the foot. It works better for me holding on to the foot, but just kind of, fidget about a wee bit until you feel that stretch on the outer thigh. That's what we're targeting with this move here. So just bringing your knees back up, knees into the chest, and we're going to have a lovely happy baby. So hands on the outside of the feet, elbows to the inside of the knees, and just pull those knees down and back, nice and gently, of course. Big hip opener, this one, but it should feel quite nice. And you can roll side to side a wee bit if you want as well. So we're going to do this other side. So now the left leg comes up. Again, hold on where you need to, and you can use a strap. And you're going to do that bend and flex. Okay, so just hold on wherever you need to, and your foot is flexed as well. No pointy toes at this point. Bending and flexing, see if you can get that leg any straighter or any further towards your face. Then you, after 3 bend and flexes, you are going to point your toes, and you're going to lift your shoulders off the floor, kind of just using your hands to pull yourself up, nose to shin-ish, doesn't need to get there, and then lower that other leg out straight. It can hover, it can go down, and you don't have to have completely straight legs. So we're going to do that reclined pigeon, left ankle over right knee. You can stay there with the foot on the floor, or lift it up and hold onto the back of the thigh like I'm doing here, but keep both your feet flexed. So just letting that right foot come down to the floor again, and then we're letting the right knee come over to the floor, remember. Left foot comes to the floor, and we're doing that nice IT band stretch on the outside of the left thigh here. Remember, you can hold on to the foot with your left hand, or you might want to push it away, push the knee away with the left hand. But just kind of shuffle about and try and find the sweet spot for you. So coming on back up, we're going to have that happy baby again, hands to the outside of the feet. And if this is too much for you, you can hold on to the back of the thighs as well. But as long as your knees are kind of coming towards you and down, and you're opening the hips, it just depends on your mobility. And then we're going to sit up. And then we're going to come back to a lovely wide-kneed child's pose, so your knees are as far apart as you want, actually. The sides of the mat are a good starter. Toes are together and hands are in front, feeling that lovely stretch in your glutes and your hips. Staying here for a nice 5 full breaths, and nice deep belly breaths. So coming on up nice and slowly from that child's pose, you're going to tuck those toes at the back and sit back on your heels for a nice toe squat, lovely stretch for the back of the feet here. And you're going to extend your left fingers down to the side and do a lovely side stretch. So right arm up to the ceiling and then over whilst you're stretching those toes. And we're going to do the same to the other side. Right fingers toward the floor, left hand up and over. So always lengthen first and then inhale and then exhale, coming over to the other side. So coming on back down, untuck those toes. That'll feel pretty nice after that. Can be quite intense, that little stretch. And then what we're going to do is just pop our fingertips behind us, about hand's length behind us. And we are going to stretch the chest. So chest up towards the ceiling, okay? And if you want to, you can stay there. You can lift your knees as well and get a lovely wee ankle stretch in whilst you're stretching and opening the chest up. So coming back down really nice and carefully, hands to the mat, tuck the toes, and let's come up to our first downward dog. So feet are hip width apart and hands are shoulder width apart. Pushing down with the heels, and remember, you don't have to have the heels to the floor, and pedal it out just like I'm doing here. Stretch those hamstrings and your calf muscles as well. And remember, you can bend your knees too, no problem at all. But let's lift our right leg up to the ceiling and bend our knee. Feel that right hip opening right up, as if you're trying to lift your knee up to the ceiling and bring the sole of your foot to your bottom. Feel the big stretch, keeping your hips as square as you can. And then we're going to bring that right foot down to the outside of our hand. So we're in a lizard pose now. Now keep the back knee up. You of course can put that down at any time if you want to. But feel that big stretch. And you can rock back and forward like I'm doing, or stay stationary. Feeling the nice big opening of the hip here, big stretch. And if you want to, you can come down onto your elbows. You're also welcome to use blocks at any time, obviously, if you want to as well. And you're staying here for just a couple of nice breaths. So let's put that left knee down on the mat now. And you can stay on your forearms or you can come up to your hands, because what we're going to do is we're just going to take our right hand and just pop it on the right knee, just gently easing it out. Come on to the outside edge of that right foot and feel the big opening. And that left foot can stay tucked or top of the foot on the floor. It's up to you. Big hip opening there. So hand back to the mat, tucking the back toe, straightening the leg. And then we're going to just pause there for a little minute and then walk our hands round towards the left into Skandasana. So coming down, you're going to bend your left knee, try and keep your foot on the floor, heel to the floor and straighten the leg. That's it. So come over, bend the right knee to the other side, straighten the left leg, heel to the floor. So walking the hands, one to each side again, walking the hands in the front, left knee bends, right knee straight, and one more on the other side. Then we can have a little bend in that straight leg if you want to. And then what we're going to do is just pop onto our bottoms there and come into half butterfly pose. So right knee is bent, left leg is straight, and you're just going to have a nice side bend to the left. And then baby wild thing. So right hand plants down and hips come up. Then we're just going to turn, face our left foot and fold forward. You can hold on to the foot, you can use a strap, you can pop your hands on your leg. But chest to thigh is where we're trying to go. So slowly coming back up now, and what we're going to do now is come in to pigeon pose. So just coming onto the side, the right knee is staying bent, the left leg comes out behind you, and you're trying to get your hips really nice and level here. Okay, now you can lean forward a wee bit, or you can lean back here like this to do a wee back bend. But as long as those hips are level, it doesn't matter how low down you are. So you can do this back bend if you want to. Remember to keep your shoulders and your head nice and relaxed. Then we're going to fold forward and stay here for a few breaths. So slowly walking your hands back up, tuck those left toes under and come up to a downward dog. Just take a minute to ease out of that because it's quite a nice big stretch, that one, as you'll have felt. Pedal it out. And how does your right side feel compared to your left side? A good chance to just compare. Just stretching it out in your downward dog there. And now we need to do the other side. So left leg comes up, three-legged dog, bend the knee, knee to the ceiling. Lifting it up, up, up high, keeping everything else nice and aligned. And then stepping it through to that lizard. So to the outside. Now if you don't get it through in the first, you don't have to step right through. You can pop the foot down and bring it forward on your own. We're in that lizard pose again. Feel free to bring your back knee down. Have a wee rock back and forward. It sometimes helps you just get that a little bit deeper into the pose. And then, as before, you can stay up in your hands or you can come down onto your elbows or use a block. But as long as you're feeling hips heavy and a nice big opening as well, it doesn't really matter the variation that you're doing. So we're taking that left hand again up to the left thigh, pushing it out, coming onto the outer edge of that left foot. Just as much as you can. It's not a forced thing. We're just opening the hips out that little bit more. See what feels good for you. So just keeping those hips sinking down and feeling the nice big stretch. So coming back to your hands in the mat, tuck those back toes, and then we're going to do Skandasana again. So coming to the side, walking your hands round, you're going to bend the right knee, heel to the floor with the left foot, toes up. Sit up as much as you want here. Keep your hands on the floor, you can take them off the floor if you want. And then of course we're going to do the other side. So walk the hands, bend the left knee. Try and keep the sole of the foot on the floor, but it can be quite bendy, so just do what you can. Going back to the other side again. And back again to the left. Just moving as much as you can. And then you're going to come on to that butterfly pose. So the left leg is bent. And we're having that lovely stretch. So left hand up in the air, up and over, side bend. You can look up if you want. That can help rotate the chest up a little bit as well. So coming back down, you're going to plant the left hand, come up onto your knee and do baby wild thing. Hips up towards the ceiling, hand up alongside your head, bicep to your ear. And coming back down, let's face our right foot. Inhale and lengthen, exhale, forward fold. So just walking your hands back up. We're going to come into pigeon again, so keep that left knee bent. Walk the right foot out towards the back. Get your hips nice and stable here. Now remember, you can stay leaning forward like that if you want, or do your back bend as well. And once you've just had a couple of breaths in back bend, you can then walk your hands forward and come into a forward fold. So slowly coming up, remember it is a really big stretch, this one. And we're going to come into downward dog again, so tucking the toes. Is your downward dog any easier than it was 20 minutes ago? Maybe, maybe not. But just continue to pedal the feet if you need to. And heels are coming toward the floor, but they don't need to be on the floor. So the right leg comes up again, three-legged dog, bend the knee, just as we did before. And this time the foot is coming between the hand. We're going to come up to warrior two. So plant the back foot, come up to warrior two, hips are open, shoulders are relaxed. And we are going to reverse the warrior now. So back hand comes to the thigh, top hand comes up and over. Doesn't need to come over too far or at all. Then back to warrior two. Then we're coming to extended side angle pose. So the top arm's up nice and straight, and you can put your elbow on your knee or hand on the floor. As long as you got a lovely straight line from your fingertips down to the edge of that left foot. Really rotating the chest round here. So as if you're trying to pull that left shoulder back. You can look up if you want. It sometimes can help to rotate the chest, but it's up to you. But don't lean forward. It's all about the rotation in this one, and your legs haven't moved at all at this point. So we're coming back up, nice strong feet into warrior two. Now straighten the legs, move the back foot in a wee bit, turn the hips over the front foot, move forward and come into triangle pose. You can hold on to the foot, back of the hand can come to the calf, but again it's the rotation of that chest. So the left shoulder's coming back, back, back. And you can have a wee bend in that front knee as well. So we're going to bring our left hand to our hip here. Bend into the front knee. We're coming into half moon pose. So just pop that left hand a couple inches forward. You might want to move back in your mat as well. And then you're going to come and put all your weight on your right foot. And keep the knee bent if you need to, but bring that other foot up in the air, and you can stay right here if you want to, or bring the other hand up into half moon pose. You can use blocks for this as well under that right hand. Bend the knee as much as you need to. Try and straighten it, but if you need it bent for a little bit of balance, then that's absolutely fine. Remember the rotation of that chest as well. So left hand comes down to the mat, then that left foot comes down as well. We're in our low lunge here. We're going to go for an easy twist. So left hand stays in the mat, right hand comes up, and you'll really feel that in your right hip as well. Hands back down to the mat. Pop your back knee down, and what we're going to do is straighten the front leg. So heel comes to the floor, toes pointing up, and stretch those hamstrings, move the hips back. And you can stay here if you want to. If you want to, you can try going into more of the splits, so that front heel will come forward. And the foot at the back will come back. You can put up a block under your pelvis as well. Come down as far as you can. I'm still working in this one. So it doesn't matter how far you come down. You are where you are. And let's come back up to a downward dog. And we need to repeat this on the left side. So let's do that three-legged dog again. Come forward, foot between the hands, warrior two. Nice, strong feet. And then we're going to reverse the warrior. So back hand comes onto your thigh, top hand comes up and over. Just making sure that front knee doesn't come in front of the foot. Extend back to warrior two onto your extended side angle. So elbow can go on the knee or pop it on the floor. But if by popping it on the floor that your chest comes forward, then go back to your knee. The rotation is much more important for this one. So strong up into warrior two again, straighten the front leg, move that back foot in a couple of inches. Hips pointing forward now and into triangle pose. So you can hold on to the toe if you want to, or the back of the hand might be against the leg. But hands pointing up or in a nice rotation. You can have a wee bend in that front knee as well if you want to. So then hand comes to the hip. Bend into the front knee, left hand comes a few inches forward, and then lots of power to come up onto that left foot. And if you can, float the right foot up in a nice straight line. And again, if you want to, you can put your right hand up too. You don't have to, you can keep that on your waist. So both hands back in the mat, right leg comes back down. We're in that low lunge again, so we're going to do that easy twist. Right hand is on the floor, left hand is up. And hands back to the floor, and then put that back knee down and come into those half splits. You can stay here and feel the stretch in your hamstring, or see how far you can come down, and you can always put a block underneath your pelvis, remember? And you are where you are. I've been working in this for what seems like forever. But you're as low as you are. And just feel the stretch, and just be careful as well. Taking the weight on your hands so as not to hurt yourself. So coming up to downward dog again once you've managed to come out of that. And this time we're going to walk up to our hands. Keep your hands on the floor and bend your knees. We're going to do a ragdoll pose. So that means holding on to your inner elbows, letting your head hang. And just sway side to side. Do whatever feels nice here. But it's more of a hang as opposed to a forward fold. And we're just going to let our hands come to the mat. Bend your knees a little bit more. Tuck the core and come right up to a standing position nice and slowly. And then stepping out to the side, about a leg length apart. Your feet are pointing forward, hands to the waist, inhale, lengthen the spine, and we're going to do a forward fold. So coming down, clasping the hands behind your back, and just bringing them forward as much as you can. And you can always have a bend in those knees as well, remember. So bringing your hands down to the mat. You're going to walk them over to your left foot if you can, and fold over your left foot as well. Chest to thigh, remember. Feeling how that changes the stretch. Then it's the other side. So walking your hand round again and folding over that leg. So just lengthening your spine again. What we're going to do now is just walk our feet in slightly, and we're going to come up to a goddess squat. Now come down on your elbows if you want to. Other than that, you can be up on your hands. So your hips are right back here, your weight's in your heels, and you're squatting down as far as you can. And just have a wee wiggle about if you want to. And stay where you are, legs wise, and bring your hands up. And then exhale, bring your hands down. Okay, and just pushing those knees out, keeping them out, using your glutes to keep them out. Come down lower. Can you come down lower? And then straightening your legs up on the inhale. Straightening up those feet again, and we're coming into another forward fold. Now remember, those clasped hands, clasp them the other way so the other thumb is on top, and bring them over as far as they're going to come. So bringing your hands to the floor, walk them forward a little bit. We're going to do a little twist here. So putting your left hand in the middle, twist up. Right hand comes up in the air. Look up if you can. Same on the other side. So right hand in the floor, left hand comes up. A lovely wide-legged twist. And then bringing your hands to the floor again. Hands to the waist, and inhale, come all the way up again. And then step to the front of the mat. So, taking your legs just wider than your hips, toes at 10 to 2. We're going to come down to Malasana, yogi squat. So come down as far as you can here. Your elbows are pushing into the side of your knees. Now you can be sitting on a block here. You can't get right down, or just coming into a squat. But lower those hips as much as you can. If those heels aren't coming to the floor, you can put a wee blanket underneath them as well. And just come down onto your bottom into Dandasana, which is staff pose. Toes are pointing up, feet are together. Nice straight back, relaxed shoulders. Your core is engaged. And we're going to come into a nice forward fold from here. However, we're going to come into a passive forward fold. So what that means is we're going to bend our knees a little bit if you want to, and we're going to curve our spine over, top of the hands on the floor, and we're going to forward fold this way. A few different ways you can do this, but this is more yin-like. So gently coming back up, nice and slowly. We're then going to come down onto our backs. That's it, just lay your legs out. So, reverse shoelace, you're going to cross your right leg over your left. You can hold on to your calves here, just like this, or you can hold on to your ankles, up to you. But you should feel this in your right hip. So just staying here for a few breaths and really try and soften into it. So bringing that into a twist, arms go out to the side in T position, and then you're going to drop your knees over to the left. Don't worry about how far they come over. Most important thing is that your shoulders are on the floor. So, as I say, your knees might not be far over at all, but as long as you're feeling that twist. So just switching the core on a bit to bring your knees back up. Then your left foot's going over your right into a cross-leg position. Hold on to those knees or the calves if you want to. Feet are quite close into the body, or you can hold on to the actual ankles or feet themselves. But as long as you feel the opening in the right hip, and staying here for a few breaths. So again, coming into that spinal twist, arms out to the side and drop your knees over to the right. Remember, it doesn't matter if they come to the floor. So bringing those knees back up, uncrossing your legs, and we're going to come into Shavasana position, feet to the outside of the mat, hands on the mat, top of the hands on the mat, and just relax and give your body a moment or two to settle. A really important part of our practice here, just to restore our body whilst it's doing absolutely nothing. And just try and relax and focus on your breathing. Try not to have your mind racing. If it's easier for you, you can count your breath. And just any time you find your mind wandering, just try and catch it and bring it back, the focus to the breath or the breathing. Just feel your body melting into the mat. Just letting it digest everything that we've just done. Quite an active practice, and it's nice just to find a moment of stillness as well. So just relaxing just for the next couple of minutes. So we're going to start thinking about deepening our breath now. Maybe wriggling your toes or your fingers, inviting the movement back in how you prefer to. Shuffling the legs, maybe bending the knees, but not coming up in a rush. That's the main thing. Letting your body come back to the here and now. And you're just going to roll onto your side first of all before sitting up, and really taking your time. Don't try and keep that feeling of calm that you've got. So coming up, sitting in a cross-legged position with your hands at your heart, and just closing your eyes for a second while you're up, letting your body settle, and just thinking about how your body is feeling now as opposed to how it felt when we began the practice. And just taking a moment to centre yourself before getting on with the rest of your day, whatever you may be up to. And just finding stillness while you're sitting, just for a second or two. So we're going to close with a namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this lower body super stretch. I hope you enjoyed that, and hope to see you back again here soon. Subscribe to the channel and you'll get all the new videos as well. See you later.